My son will learn that I am not a doll that can be cast aside when he tires of me. I shall take this sanctuary, and from the souls within compose a song of screams and torment.
Hey everyone, it's Peter Brown, standing in for Daniel Starkey for their review of Total War Warhammer 2. With the second installment in its Total War Warhammer trilogy, developer Creative Assembly has begun flexing its design muscles. Battles are bigger and more tightly animated, scores of soldiers of all different types sound impeccable, and the fineries of tactical and strategic play are better than ever. Where the first entry kept to standard Total War form with an open-ended, risk-inspired campaign of territory control, now there's a directed focus: the Vortex. You and a number of other armies across the map will be racing to take control of a seal which was put in place to quarantine the forces of chaos. Your target takes the form of a swirling vortex, comprised of magical energies. And through a pre-made set of special quests, you'll perform rituals that will, in time, allow you to wrench control of the vortex from everyone else. But each time you or your opposition performs one of 5 successful rituals, the pace of the entire campaign will pick up a bit. This mode still balances Total War's signature dualistic design. As you're worrying about the stability of the vortex, you also need to manage cities and tax your people. You'll research new tactics, weapons, and monsters, and conduct diplomatic consorts with the various races of Warhammer. Rituals often take some time to complete, and in the interim, 3 of your most powerful cities will be marked. Opposing factions will try to sack and capture and raise any of them. And if you don't control all 3 by the end of the ritual timer, you've got to try again, and still deal with the invaders that you attracted to your lands. As you progress through the campaign, the evil forces of chaos will filter onto a map in a desperate attempt to stop you. During the late game, they become monstrously powerful to gauge how well you've distributed your forces and manage the challenges posed thus far. And they encourage you to seek help from your neighbors, as it's difficult to pull together all the might you need all by yourself. And that brings up one of Warhammer 2's most engaging consequences of the Vortex rituals. Progression yields huge impacts for diplomacy, encouraging you to forge alliances with those outside of your own faction. This makes sense in play, because each group's broad goals are distinct within the lore. This confluence of goals can lead to the creation of confederations, which are a fancy name for one of the most useful ways to build out your empire. Like minds can, over time, be persuaded to let themselves be absorbed, and this merges politics, economies, research trees, etc., to give you a quick, sudden expansion of territory, often with a new legion of eager soldiers for your command. This keeps the game from chugging in the middle and later stages, where you'd have to take back raised cities from marauders, only to carry the dead weight of a developing province for a while before seeing any return. The new system fits thematically and boosts the importance of diplomatic and factional ties on the map. Generally, you'll get along with your own groups better, but you'll also find yourself stepping into long-standing political alliances, many of which aren't always easy to navigate.
Speak briefly, then remove your vile taint from the hallow we have an accord.
The focus, of course, is still on battles, but this system breaks up long stretches of action with some careful maneuvering from time to time. As you pick up more subjects and commission larger and larger armies, you'll no doubt unearth some of the other major new additions to gameplay. Choke point maps, for instance, give you a lot more to consider in your approach to special in-game locations. Some will funnel your forces through a bridge, while others will use more different types of land to give most bouts more depth. The effect on play with that alone is huge, as it means many powerful strategies aren't always applicable. At the same time, you may find that a holdout army of all cavalry can repel a far stronger force in the right conditions. In time, you'll learn where these battlefields lie on the map. That in turn opens up countless other broad-scale strategies designed to guide foes to the points where you've got the strongest defenses. You could always do this to a degree, but the results are far starker here, on top of adding much-needed variety to play.
Acknowledged. Moving out. Our magic is strong. Death to all. Silver helms. Yes.
Combined with the pacing changes that the race to control the Vortex brings, Total War II Warhammer feels fresh, even though you'll be stepping into the same universe as last time. Eye of the Vortex, as the single-player mode is called, is among the best a campaign of this type could be. It encourages the right amount of conflict to keep you moving, paces itself well, fits plenty of in-universe lore for diehard fans, and fine-tunes about every other facet of its predecessor. Plus, as the game wears on, you can rest assured that there's a definite, clean ending. Every piece of Total War Warhammer 2 is designed to force you to innovate and create new plans on the fly, which test your prowess over and over in new and exciting ways. In fact, Warhammer 2 surpasses its predecessor in nearly every respect. Everything that is, except the camera and multiplayer. The complaint here is simple and direct. There aren't enough factions for competitive play. At present, you can only use the 4 groups featured in the Eye of the Vortex campaign: Dark Elves, High Elves, Lizardmen, and Skaven. Given that the first game started with 5 races for multiplayer and rapidly expanded from there, it feels like a big step backwards to have so few options at the moment. Not being able to pit vampires against dinosaurs is a shame. And it'd be cool to see how elven dragons fare against the mighty dwarves, but that'll have to wait. There are some planned free content expansions coming, including a massive campaign map that spans the lands and races covered in both games. But that's still some time off. Those fans who are put off by the monetization of content in the first will likely have the same complaints, though they can rest assured that the base game is still pretty robust on its own. With Warhammer 2, Total War doesn't reinvent anything so much as it iterates on the ideas that made the first so special. At its heart, there's still the marriage of Total War's big-scale strategy and Warhammer's precise tactical play. But through many tiny tweaks, the developers have refined the experience into one of the most intriguing and exciting strategy games ever made.